Hello, I am Alina. I am the founder and CEO of VVector Bio. We are developing innovative technologies to improve the manufacturing of cell and gene therapies. Cell and gene therapies, cell and gene therapies are promising alternatives for treating diseases that still remain incurable, like cancer, rare genetic disorders, or neurological conditions such as Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. Typically, these cell and gene therapies involve a virus that delivers the right genetic information and is able to correct, delete, or replace the faulty gene with the healthy one. And what sets these therapies apart is that it's a one-time treatment, so the patients can go skip long-term medication and have a shot at full remission. So why we don't see more of these options offered to patients, more of these drugs? And the one major issue is that the manufacturing of cell and gene therapies can be very expensive. In fact, with current technologies, manufacturing can account for up to 60% of the cost of bringing a cell and gene therapy to the market. The raw materials, mainly here at this step, are the primary contributor to the cost of goods sold in the manufacturing. So I have been fortunate to be working in the field of virus manufacturing for vaccines and cell and gene therapies since graduating from university in 2005. So it's been almost 20 years. Continuing through my PhD in chemical engineering and my postdoctoral studies. Also, I have worked in large manufacturing facilities in the past. And I have noticed a trend in the industry, which the tendency is to build these huge facilities with huge bioreactors to meet the manufacturing demand and also address this manufacturing process inefficiency. However, there has been less efforts in innovation and finding innovative technologies, new technologies for the making this manufacturing process more efficient, less costly, reduce the time. And this is where my company is focused and our technologies are focused. We are working on improving this manufacturing process from the raw materials point of view in the manufacturing, bringing new technologies, new advanced raw materials to improve the manufacturing process. So traditional manufacturing for cell and gene therapies usually involves cells and the DNA as a circular plasmid, and the cells act as a factory to produce these viruses. So our technology, as you can see in traditional manufacturing, there are three DNAs that are used for the production of the virus. In this case, we have come up with a new technology where we use a one plasmid that has been optimized and is very efficient for the product, mediating the production of the viruses, which is finally the therapy. And also we are working on a high producer cell line, high producer cells that we are relying very on advanced tools for genomics, transcriptomics, combined with gene editing, and we are looking at increasing the virus yields by 100 times, which is significantly enough to reduce the cost of manufacturing and reduce the time. So our business model is a B2B. So we are looking to sublicense our technologies to large manufacturing companies or distributors to offer our technologies to the manufacturing companies field and put it at the service of the industry. And we are also looking at other sources of revenue, like selling off-the-shelf products in our website, and also do custom manufacturing contracts in our facility, in our lab. And actually, in the last 2 years, we have been doing market validation, and we have been generating revenue. We have had 11 clients, and we have executed 20 plus contracts. And actually, these manufacturing contracts have helped us a lot to understand the gaps in the manufacturing process and come up with these technologies. Also, we have received significant government support, mainly from organizations like IRAP, of around $750,000. So we have an expert team together with great expertise in the field. Together we bring over 100 years of know-how, along with several publications and patents. Plus we have got some fantastic business advisors and consultants mentoring us along the way. So as I say, VVector Bio is developing technologies to reduce the cost of manufacturing associated with cell and gene therapies. We aim to differentiate ourselves by providing superior technologies with what our competitors are providing right now, and having higher yields of viruses, more quality, reduce the cost, reduce the time. And our strategy actually involved a partnership early on with one of these large pharma companies or a distributor, and get our first license with one of them. So the cell and gene therapy market, manufacturing market, is big and is growing at a fast pace, driven by the incidence of these diseases such as cancer, genetic conditions, also heart diseases and others. And we are looking to capture $60 million in revenue in the next 5 years. So this is kind of our roadmap. We are looking to have our first technology filed for a patent during these months. We are in this process of the one plasmid. And then we are looking to sign our first license at the end of the year. Actually, we are already in conversations for negotiating our first license. So currently we are working in the development of the second technology, which is the cell line. And early in the second year, we are looking to have a proof of concept demonstration, and right away file for a patent, and also looking at signing our first license for the second technology, the cell line, by the end of the year 2. So we are looking to raise $1 million. We have secured $320,000 through government funds, and we are planning to use the funds for research and development to complete the technology and technology development, and also working product development, and also spend funds in commercialization strategy and IP, and also for marketing and sales. So help us in this journey of making these new technologies for reducing the cost of manufacturing of cell and gene therapies, and make these drugs accessible to patients in need. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Alina. Okay, are we ready to start with some feedback? This time I'll start with Kristina, even though you're unmuted, Nina.
Okay.
But,
Alina, I'm just super impressed with your background. I feel like I'm not very smart sitting next to you here, but and I'm going to fully admit that this is not my area of expertise. So some of the questions I'm going to ask you could be really elementary, and I apologize if that's the case. But so a couple things. So the 22 contracts that you mentioned, were they paid pilots?
they're paid contracts, paid customers.
You should say that.
Okay.
Yeah. And did any of them, after the paid pilot, convert or expand?
We have 4 repeating clients. So we had
Awesome.
11 clients and 4 repeating clients. Yes.
You should say that too. Yeah, because that speaks to that you, not just they tried you out, but they tried you out and they want to keep using you, right? So I think that's really, really valuable for any potential investor to know about. So the next question I have is your average contract value. So what's it been so far? And what are you expecting it to be, once you raise this money and you start really going out and commercializing? As you can see, I have a focus here on finance stuff. Because as an investor, I care a lot about that.
Yeah.
And if this is a pitch for capital, other investors are going to have similar things to care about around capital.
Sure. For the next years, we are looking to go more to the sub-licensing of our technologies.
Okay.
So more than the contract manufacturing, sub-licensing technology. So we are looking, there are 2 technologies. For one of them, we are looking to partner with a distributor. So they will sell as well our technology. So we are looking at a $1 million upfront and royalty fees depending on the revenue that they have.
So it would be really great if you had a slide on what your business model was around revenue, and including like, that you're going to have partners or distributors. How much are they going to be taking of the revenue coming in? And then for other ones, if you go direct to manufacturers, what is the average contract value that you're expecting there as well? And then my other point would be, even a slide that had a bar graph that shows the revenue or something like that, and then a line that shows total revenue maybe. I think that would be like a visual that it's very easy for the audience to digest without having to work too hard. Make it really easy for us so I don't have to do math, because I don't want to have to do math.
Yeah.
And then your deal structure at the end. I know you're raising $1 million, you have 320 from non-dilutive, which is great. You're trying to raise the rest in equity, it looks like, but I don't understand what your deal structure is. Like, do you have a valuation attached to that? Are you willing to negotiate what that looks like? Do you have a lead investor? Are you looking for a lead investor? Those are all things that I would care about.
Okay. This is very good. We are working on the financial slide that.
Yeah, it's pretty important to an investor that we, have at least an early look at what it could look like. We all know that it's not perfect. We all know that there's a lot of assumptions based in there, but we want to know that you're thinking about it as well as the founder, and not just we have to ask and dig around to find out that whether you're really thinking about it or not.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the slide, there is not actually evaluation that we are putting. So we are thinking on doing on a safe note.
And it's okay to say that, knowing that it could be, if you get a lead investor, you could be negotiating something different, but it just, throw it out there as a first shot and just say, but you're open, you're open to negotiation on it. It just stops someone like me asking the question to start with.
Nice, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Nina?
Medical is so far beyond me. When Kristina started by saying you're very intelligent, I was like, I glaze when I hear medical. And when it starts getting like deeper into the details, I think I have like a mental shut off that just says like, you're not going to get this anyways. So I'm not sure as you pitch how you could address that hurdle. But I did find myself looking at it and thinking like, I'm not going to get this.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. And actually, Kathy has been here. We have been changing the pitch, going in that direction, trying to
target that.
Everybody to understand that we get it. So I'm working now. I will be working with one of our partners in Shiput for the design, to help more with the clarity of the message at the beginning.
Fantastic.
So I think this will help a lot to try to get the room, understand in general what we want to do.
Yeah. So I don't have much feedback, but all of Kristina's questions for clarity and pinpointing what to highlight were fantastic.
Can I add a couple more things in here then? Because like Nina, I'm not an expert in medical things. And in fact, as I've been interacting with Sheboot about potentially being a mentor next year, I'm like, can I work for the company that's a non-medical company? Because it's not my area of expertise either. But I think to Nina's point about, her glazing over, her not sure what to say, I think if there's a way to be a little bit more, I'm going to say really, really basic about what you do, like you laid a lot of groundwork out. If you could start off with like a couple statements, very simplistic statements about the end goal of what you're trying to accomplish, and then maybe go into a little more of the detail for those that have medical backgrounds or a more proclivity to invest in medical type companies. After that, you'll get them really interested. But those of us who are going to be in the audience would understand right from the beginning in a very basic way what you're up to. I think that might help lay the groundwork a little bit better. And then, I see this all the time with founders, which they love to spend because you love your products and you should because you're passionate and that's why you're building them. You spend 80% of your time in your pitch deck on your product. And as investors, we want to hear about your product for 20 or 30% of your time. And we want to hear about how you're going to run this business for the rest of the time, how you're going to run it and all the things around it, like, the financials, where your risks are in the business, how you're going to get your customers, how can you grow your customer base, how can you get your average contract value, all those really, really critical business concepts are things that investors care about. So think about, if you put yourself in the shoes of an investor, we care 30% of the time about what your product is. And the rest of the time we care about what your business model is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I think the financial projections and what we were discussing will help to kind of break down the business. And we are working right now to make the science more simple to be digested by everyone.
Right. And that's a great way to lay it out at the beginning too. Like when you're simplifying manufacturing and the science behind it and, creating a lot of value for your customers. So what's the use case for your customers? How much value would you create for them if they already use your process?
Yeah, we are thinking it would be 100 times more efficient, but
Wow, that's amazing. And then what validation did you get from the 22 customers or 22 contracts that you've done? Were you able to validate that 100% or 100 times improvement?
yeah.
That's really powerful stuff.
Absolutely great feedback, Kristina and Nina. And I love the 20% product rather than 80% product, Kristina. That's I haven't heard it said that way, but very true. Nice to see. And I was going to add, I mean, is there an analogy that would simplify things, Alina, just about your process? I mean, can we, I happen to be trying to clean up the mess from my pumpkin pie, but, is there a cooking analogy, something that, you're using yeast to make things rise? I don't know, something that you know of that would just help people see it really quickly, right at the beginning, what you're trying to achieve.
We are trying to think of an analogy. I think this will kind of help us a lot with the beginning, with the giving away the science. So I am not clear which one, because there could be, we got the feedback last time from another coach.
Okay.
That they see to look at an analogy for the business. So more like if we are developing this IP and new technologies and we plan to sublicense, it's more like NVIDIA company do with, what is the name of I don't recall, but it's another company that is the supplier of Apple, Google, everybody. So it's not in tech for business, but this is kind of what we want to do in the manufacturing space, like sublicensing our technologies to distributors and manufacturers, and they are big, they will do the commercialization. So it could be both. It could be for the business and for the science, but I think the science might be a better, because everybody would understand sublicensing model, I guess, from a business point of view.
Yeah,
well, I think just understand science quickly and then start talking about business models.
Yeah, I think both could be, just because I am on the call week over week, so I can speak to what Alina is talking about in terms of the feedback last week. I think both could be really powerful, Alina, because one analogy speaks to the science, which is, for folks on the call, including myself, pretty much impossible to understand. So, you know, it is a challenge from that side of things to know exactly what you're doing. But in some ways in which when you've gone on to explain what you're doing, I've gotten it later when you've had more time to expand. But having an analogy both for the science and then speaking to the opportunity, the example that Melanie shared last week, from a business perspective, really right away was easy to resonate with what the potential of your business was because of the example. I forget the name right now as well, but I do think both could work. I will say I think both could work. And you wouldn't have to spend too much time when you're referring to the business that supplies all the different tech companies. You could just say, this is what they do, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what we intend to do in this space, and then move on. You don't have to spend too much time, but it could resonate really quickly with the folks that are investing in tech-related companies, but not necessarily in this science-based space.
Yeah, we are working right now on this to get the message clear, and I hope in the next week or 2 weeks we will have a better. I mean, is it try and error, right? We will try an analogy, and then if it doesn't work, we will try another one. I think we have 1 month, and see how this can be kind of digested, because we want people to understand, even though I think everybody can understand if it's well explained.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with you, and I'm the first to admit that I glaze over. So if you want to use me as your guinea pig and circle back, I'm happy to listen to you again and again and say, oh yeah, you caught my attention finally. I get it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's very good, because actually this is what I need. Someone that is not in the field at all. That would be the best listener.
No
Okay.
problem. You could definitely reach out to me. I'm happy to participate.
Thank you so much.
I'll make sure you have Nina's contact information, Alina. And also, are you meeting with Melanie Ewan?
Yeah, I'm with Melanie,
Perfect.
with Kim,
Perfect.
and with what is the name of the designer? I will start.
Madison.
I book a meeting with Madison for this week,
Beautiful.
so I think it will come together. I
It's
hope
going to
so.
come together. Yes.
Yeah.
You're on.
Yeah.
You're on to something. You're on
Yeah.
to something special.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm so glad to hear that. And Melanie she definitely is of the perspective of being able to make it accessible to all, not just experts in fields. So that will be really helpful, I think. So I'm so glad you're doing that. It's awesome. Lots of work, but it's really beautiful to see the evolution of the deck already to date. So great job, Alina. Is there anything else that anyone would like to add before we conclude their pitch practice? No? Okay. Well, thank you, Kristina. Thank you, Nina, and Julia and Kim showing up. Great coaches. We really appreciate you being here. And thank you, Alina and Nanette.
Thank
It's
you.
been
Thank you
wonderful.
for participating.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.